You work 60, 70, maybe even 80 hours a week. You pride yourself on your work ethic, your dedication, and your willingness to outwork everyone around you. You believe that hard work is the path to success, that if you just put in more hours, take on more projects, and push yourself harder, you'll eventually achieve the financial security you're working toward. Yet despite years of grinding, despite sacrificing weekends, relationships, and health for your career, you're not getting rich. You tell yourself you just need to work harder, find better opportunities, or wait for the right promotion. But what if I told you that your addiction to hard work is actually preventing you from building wealth? Freud discovered something disturbing about people who work obsessively. The same drive that makes you productive in your job makes you blind to wealth-building opportunities that don't involve trading time for money. Right now, you're probably so focused on working harder that you're not working smarter, so busy earning money that you're not learning how to multiply it. Your work addiction isn't just about dedication. It's about avoiding the uncomfortable truth that hard work alone never creates significant wealth. Tell me in the comments, how many hours do you work per week? And how much wealth have you actually built per hour worked? I can see from your responses that massive hours worked don't correlate with wealth built. But here's what Freud discovered about why hardworking people never get rich. You mistake activity for progress and confuse being busy with being productive toward wealth building. Hard work feels virtuous and controllable. You can always work more hours, take on more projects, or push yourself harder when you're not seeing the financial results you want. This creates an addictive cycle where work becomes your solution to every financial problem, even when more work isn't what you actually need. You work extra hours to earn overtime instead of learning skills that could increase your base salary. You take on side jobs to generate more income instead of investing time in building assets that generate passive income. You focus on optimizing your current job performance instead of exploring entirely different income streams that could be more profitable. This work addiction keeps you trapped in linear thinking, where wealth comes from trading more time for more money, when real wealth comes from exponential thinking, where you create systems that generate money without your constant time input. The irony is that your willingness to work hard is exactly the quality that could make you wealthy, but you're applying it to activities that keep you perpetually busy rather than progressively wealthy. Your recognition of activity versus progress shows growing awareness, but Freud discovered something even more disturbing about hardworking people and wealth. You use work as psychological avoidance of the risk-taking and strategic thinking that wealth building requires. Working hard feels safe because effort is within your control. You can always choose to work more hours or try harder at your current role. But building wealth requires activities that feel uncertain and risky. Starting businesses, making investments, developing new skills, or pursuing opportunities where success isn't guaranteed by effort alone. For people addicted to work, these wealth-building activities feel uncomfortable because they can't be solved through sheer effort and determination. You'd rather work 80 hours at a job where you know exactly what you'll earn than spend 20 hours developing a business idea where the outcome is uncertain. This preference for controlled, effort-based activities over uncertain, strategy-based activities keeps you trapped in employment relationships where your earning potential is capped by someone else's willingness to pay you. Your work addiction becomes a sophisticated form of risk avoidance that prevents you from pursuing the higher reward opportunities that actually create wealth. You're so busy working that you never have time to think strategically about how to build wealth beyond your current job. I can see from your comments that work as risk avoidance resonates with your experience, but here's what Freud discovered about the specific psychology that keeps hardworking people poor. You've developed an identity around being someone who earns everything through effort, which makes passive income feel undeserved or illegitimate. Your self-worth becomes tied to how hard you work, rather than how much wealth you build, creating internal resistance to wealth-building strategies that don't require constant effort. Earning money through investments, business ownership, or passive income streams can feel like cheating because you didn't directly trade your time and effort for that money. This creates psychological conflict when you consider wealth-building strategies because success would require changing your identity from someone who works for money to someone who makes money work for them. You might also worry that building passive income will make you lazy, that wealth not earned through direct effort is somehow morally questionable, or that becoming wealthy without working constantly for it will change you into someone you don't want to be. This identity-based resistance to wealth building keeps you addicted to active income because earned income feels authentic to your self-image as a hardworking person. The irony is that your strong work ethic would actually serve you well in building passive income streams, but your identity prevents you from applying that work ethic to wealth-building activities, rather than just job-related activities. Your insights about earned versus passive income identity reveal deep psychological patterns, but Freud discovered that hardworking people often stay poor because they optimize for feeling productive rather than achieving profitable outcomes. You get satisfaction from being busy, completing tasks, and feeling useful, which can become addictive in ways that distract from wealth building. A day spent working feels successful even if that work doesn't move you closer to financial freedom, while a day spent learning about investing or developing business ideas can feel unproductive because you can't check tasks off a list or show immediate results. This creates incentive misalignment where you choose activities that provide immediate psychological satisfaction over activities that provide long-term financial benefits. You might spend hours perfecting work projects that won't increase your income instead of spending those hours developing skills that could lead to higher-paying opportunities. You might feel guilty taking time away from work to learn about investing or entrepreneurship because those activities don't provide the immediate sense of accomplishment that completing work tasks provides. This addiction to feeling productive prevents you from engaging in the strategic, long-term thinking that wealth building requires, because wealth-building activities often involve planning, learning, and preparation that don't feel immediately productive but are essential for future success. I can see from your responses that optimizing for productivity feelings rather than profits describes many of your experiences. But here's what Freud discovered about why hardworking people particularly struggle with wealth building. You've become so accustomed to immediate rewards from work that you can't tolerate the delayed gratification that wealth building requires. Employment provides regular paychecks, immediate feedback, and consistent validation for your efforts, creating psychological dependence on short-term rewards. But wealth building often requires years of consistent action before seeing significant results, and this timeline conflict makes it psychologically difficult to maintain motivation for wealth-building activities. You might start investing or building a side business, but when results don't appear quickly, you abandon these efforts to return to work activities that provide immediate satisfaction and compensation. This creates a cycle where you only pursue financial strategies that offer quick returns, which are usually limited in their wealth-building potential, while avoiding the patient, long-term strategies that actually create significant wealth. Your work addiction trains your brain to expect immediate rewards for effort, making it neurologically difficult to maintain motivation for activities that require months or years to pay off. The constant reinforcement schedule of employment makes the intermittent reinforcement schedule of wealth building feel frustrating and unrewarding, even though wealth-building activities ultimately provide much larger rewards. Your recognition of immediate versus delayed gratification challenges shows important self-awareness, but Freud discovered another crucial way. Work addiction prevents wealth. Hardworking people often become so valuable to their employers that they get trapped in golden handcuffs that prevent wealth-building risk-taking. Your exceptional work ethic makes you indispensable to your company, which typically results in increasing responsibilities, higher salaries, and greater job security. But this success creates psychological and financial dependence that makes it difficult to pursue wealth-building opportunities that might require reducing your work commitment or leaving your job entirely. You become afraid to risk your stable, high-earning position to pursue business opportunities, investments, or career changes that could potentially create much greater wealth but involve uncertainty. Your employer recognizes your value and provides just enough additional compensation and benefits to keep you committed, but not enough to make you genuinely wealthy. This creates a comfortable trap where you're too successful at your job to want to risk losing it, but not wealthy enough to achieve financial independence through employment alone. Your work addiction makes you prefer the security of being highly paid for your efforts over the uncertainty of potentially becoming wealthy through ownership, investment, or entrepreneurship. You choose the guaranteed good income over the possible great wealth because your identity and security are tied to being needed and valued at work. I can see from your comments that golden handcuffs describe many of your situations. But here's what Freud discovered about the most limiting aspect of work addiction. You mistake being busy for being irreplaceable, which prevents you from developing the leverage and scalability that wealth requires. Hard work makes you feel essential and valuable, but individual effort, no matter how intense, has natural limits that cap your wealth-building potential. You can only work so many hours, handle so many projects, or increase your productivity so much before hitting physical and mental constraints. Real wealth comes from creating systems, owning assets, or developing capabilities that generate value without your constant personal involvement. But work addiction keeps you focused on what you can personally accomplish rather than what you can create, own, or scale beyond your individual efforts. You become expert at maximizing your personal productivity instead of learning how to build teams, systems, or investments that work independently of your constant involvement. This focus on personal effort prevents you from developing the ownership mindset that wealth building requires, because you're always thinking about what you can do rather than what you can create or own. The hardest workers often stay poor because they never transition from being valuable employees to becoming asset owners, system builders, or passive income generators. Your stories about personal effort versus scalable systems reveal important insights. But Freud discovered the ultimate irony about hardworking people and wealth. The discipline, persistence, and dedication that make you an exceptional employee are exactly the qualities that could make you wealthy, but you're applying them to activities that benefit others more than yourself. Your work ethic is genuinely valuable. Most successful entrepreneurs, investors, and business owners work extremely hard, especially in the early stages of building wealth. The difference is that they direct their hard work toward building assets they own, rather than just completing tasks for employers. Your willingness to work long hours could be channeled into building a business that eventually generates passive income. Your attention to detail could be applied to researching and managing investments that grow your wealth. Your persistence could be used to develop new skills that increase your earning potential or create additional income streams. The solution isn't to work less hard. It's to redirect your exceptional work ethic toward activities that build your own wealth rather than just someone else's business. This requires shifting from an employee mindset to an owner mindset while maintaining the same level of dedication and effort. Your work addiction becomes a wealth-building asset when you start working as hard on your own financial future as you currently work on your employer's success. As we conclude this exploration into why hardworking people never get rich, I want you to understand something profound that Freud discovered. Your work ethic is not the problem. Your direction of that work ethic is. The same qualities that make you an exceptional employee, discipline, persistence, attention to detail, willingness to sacrifice, are exactly what successful wealth builders possess. The difference is focus and strategy, not effort level. Breaking free from work addiction doesn't mean becoming lazy or reducing your standards. It means redirecting your impressive capabilities toward building your own assets rather than just enhancing someone else's business. This requires developing comfort with uncertainty, learning to think strategically about wealth building, and accepting that the highest rewards often come from activities that don't provide immediate gratification. Most importantly, it means recognizing that your time and energy are your most valuable resources, and that building wealth requires investing these resources in activities that compound over time, rather than just trading them for immediate income. Your exceptional work ethic, properly directed, can absolutely create wealth. You just need to start working as hard on building your own financial future as you currently work on fulfilling someone else's business objectives. The goal isn't to stop working hard, it's to start working hard on the right things.